That's good to know. Thank you. Gotcha. That's good to know. You don't have to worry for the future, at least.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Veterans Park, home of Hastings softball. And your softball day, Hastings 2022. We have the Hastings and Mahtomedi teams for the rest of the evening. Let's go through your starting lineups. First for Mahtomedi. All right, leading off will be number 8. Ellie Kustrich at second, batting second, number 7. Annika Martin, left fielder, batting third, number 17. Riley Bogren Riley's at third, and Annika's at left. 21, Brzezinski catching, batting fifth. Is it Sendel? Or is it right? Sendel Kerr, 28, the shortstop. 15, Olivia Boyle at first base. Anik Strum, number 12, in right field, batting 8th. 29, Ellie Newfield in center field. 33, Lexi Burke, the DP,
Gotcha.
and 23, Abby Wright, the pitcher, and available sub 32, Elizabeth Dupay. Let's go through for Hastings. Leading off will be number 22, shortstop Lauren Mole. Batting second, number 13 at second, Maddie Chandler. 17, Claire Reeder at third. Olivia Otto at first, number 12. Number 1, Brooke Savander, center field. 20, the catcher, Lauren Meyer. The right fielder, Kelly Celine, number 9. Number 23, Elena Christopher, left field. Number 2, Nora Thermos, the DP, and on the mound, number 3, Grace Trapp. Available subs, number 6, Rachel Notch, Anna Jensen, number 11, number 7, Michaela Steele, and 4, Ellie Stevens. All right, we will save the anthem for the varsity game, so let's roll. Hold on a second, we gotta do the, Heather's gonna throw the first pitch out, right? We need a ball, that helps. All right, so before we do the first pitch though, I have to read a little bit of stuff here, so Dean, you might want to stand up a minute. Well, I felt bad this morning because someone was down there for like 2 minutes. All right, so Heather Meyer, a 4-year letter winner at UW Stout from 2002 to 2005, senior captain and all-conference honorable mention. 2005 WIAC Conference Tournament champs, played on a select All-American team in Apeldoorn, Holland, summer of 2005. Hastings varsity assistant coach from 2009 to 2019. Conference champs 2009, 10, 11, 14, 15. Section champs in 9, 10, and 11. And state tournament appearances 2009 third place, 2010 third place, and 2011 state champs. Going into the 15th summer of coaching Raiders Express and a Hastings in-house softball parent volunteer for 19, 21, and 22. Put your hands together for Heather Meyer. All right, now, there you go. We'll call that a strike. All right, where are our officials? There's one there. We're good.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
How was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
The Blowy. Touchdown Raiders.
That is being broadcast on YouTube live all day today.
And we welcome those of you watching on HCTV to our KDWA audio as we are set to go for JV softball tonight between Hastings and Mahtomedi in the 8th game of our 9-game slate for softball day in Hastings and the first of the 2 high school games. I am KDWA Sports Director Trey Lauer alongside HCTV's Ashley Bose. And we are just moments away from first pitch here, and on the hill for Hastings JV will be Grace Trapp to start things off. And so she will be, as we said, on the hill here, and leading off from Mahtomedi is going to be Ellie Kustrich, number 8. She plays second base. And we are just about ready to go here in high school time on softball day in Hastings. Kustrich will take a strike on pitch number 1. Again, they did keep, for those of you that were with us earlier, they did keep the outfield at 200 feet. It's 310 feet, the full distance here at field number 1. They've moved it in about 110 feet with some temporary fencing that wraps all the way around. Could be some home run potential tonight in these 2 games.
Yeah, that would certainly be exciting to see.
Wide.
Snow fence is always interesting.
Oh,
too.
yeah. This one's popped up into the air and caught quickly for out number 1. And Mahtomedi quickly retires the first batter, and now we will see Annika Martin step in to face Grace Trapp here for the Hastings Raiders. Martin in her stance, Trapp the wind up the pitch, and fanned on for strike number 1. So if you've been with us throughout the day today, we've had youth games for 10, 12, and 14-year-olds. And now we are into the JV action with varsity to follow at 8 o'clock. They're sitting over our left shoulder over here. It looks like they're going to honor the seniors tonight as well, as this was supposed to be their final game of the regular season, but now there is one scheduled for next week as a result of a postponement. Ball thrown there, so looks like it's 2-0.
I've got 1 and 2.
1 and 2, okay.
Yeah.
And that one popped up into the air towards right. The catch is made quickly for out number 2, and so quickly 2 away here for the Zephyrs.
And that is Callie Celine out there in right.
Yeah, nice
making the
catch by Callie Celine, so that's 2 away. And Riley Bogren will step in for the Zephyrs here. Mahtomedi in all navy uniforms with their gold and white trims around it. Hastings in the blue uniforms with the goldish yellow numbers and lettering and the black pants.
At least they're different shades of blue.
At least they are different shades of blue. We had 2 shades of black in one of the games today.
Yeah, that got a little confusing.
And I imagine they were very sweaty in those uniforms too. I
Oh.
imagine it got hot out there.
I can certainly imagine so. It's a beautiful day to sit
Beautiful
here and watch,
day.
but it's kind of roasty to play.
Yeah,
I
for
imagine.
sure. Especially the other day, 90 degrees when I was over at Prescott for the
Oh.
Baldwin game. It was 90 or 91 degrees there.
Oh my goodness. That's never fun to play in. I mean, at that point you run the risk as a player of like heat sickness and
Oh,
things
absolutely.
at that point.
Yeah, they made sure that those players were hydrated, and so it is still
It's a 3-1
Riley
count.
Bogren here and there with a 3-1 count. The wind up the pitch, and that one will be ball 4, and Bogren will be off to first base. So for those of you who are listening on KDWA who might not recognize this voice, we did mention that it's Ashley Bose with us tonight as our kind of guest color commentator for these 2 games. Has worked with Prescott, has played this sport before, and couldn't find anybody better to be the color commentator for us tonight.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be coming out of retirement.
So Trapp will throw an HBP here, and that will send Julia Rosinski off to first base. And so 2 on and 2 away for Mott here in this top of the first inning.
Stepping up to the dish now, we are going to have Kendall Kerr, number 28.
I guess she spells it differently because they mispronounced her name on the introduction tonight.
Yeah, it's spelled with
Sendel.
a C.
I've never heard Kendall spelled with a C, but all right. And so took that pitch high. It's Grace Trapp, as we said, on the hill for Hastings, although it's more of a circle than a hill. And she'll fan on that pitch.
And the snap throw down.
And the snap throw down, yep. And great job over there at first base to get the throw down there, but they weren't able to get the pick off in time. And so this is still Kendall Kerr there for Mahtomedi at the plate. Trapp, the wind up, the pitch, fanned on for a strike. The throw to third is not in time. And they will say Bogren slides in safely to third here.
That was a pretty close play.
It really was.
She came in standing up, though. That sliding usually helps your cause.
So definitely a rare occurrence for these 2 teams to not only be playing on a Saturday, to be playing this late in the day. They usually play about 4:30 or so. That one's going to be fouled off into left. 4:15, I think, is usually when they start playing their games. But about an hour and 45 minutes later than they usually would play. And they'll end this one in dusk tonight. Sunset around 8:30 or so. And Trapp with the wind up here. And Kendall Kerr continuing her at bat here for the Zephyrs. Top of the first inning, 2 outs. Great crowd on hand for this one here at Softball Day in Hastings 2022. Trapp, the wind up, the pitch, and fouled off by Kerr. And so she will keep this at bat alive a little further. 0-0 the score. But Mahtomedi's got a runner on third and first. But Hastings just needs to record this last out. Here's the windup, the pitch. Kerr again fouls it off. And they will have to send Kerr back to home, and they will have to send Bogren back to third, because that one, she got a lot of that one, but it went the wrong way into left field.
Kerr has a great at-bat going on here. She's doing an excellent job of just keeping herself alive, fouling off these pitches. She's figuring out what Trapp's throwing in there.
Trapp swung on there by Kerr, but they said she got a piece of it again, and she fouls it off, and so we keep this alive. I was over at Prescott on, what day was that? Thursday for the Baldwin game, and one of the Prescott girls had a 14-pitch at-bat and ended up singling. So, you know,
wow,
kept that alive for a long time. And
that's
Kerr,
crazy.
I believe that was Izzy Matzik that did that.
Izzy, sure.
And she took a ball there, I believe, did Kerr.
Yes.
And so, top of the first, 2 outs, runners on first and third. Grace Trapp trying to get this final out of the inning for the Raiders here in this top of the first. Kerr again fouls it off, and we're approaching 14 pitches now for this one. So, Trapp in the circle for the Raiders, trying to end this inning without anything scoring against them here. Trapp, the windup, the pitch, fouled off again by Kerr. She's getting contact. It's just not going the right way. And so Trapp seeing that pitch count rise here in this first inning. Wind up the pitch, and she fouls it off again into right.
Wow.
So I think we've surpassed that total from Thursday now.
Yeah, I would have to
That's,
guess so.
that was the 14th
14?
pitch right there. So that is the 14th pitch of this at-bat for Kendall Kerr.
Wow.
as Trapp could end this with a strikeout here. And wind up the pitch, and that will make this pitch number 16 coming up as Kendall Kerr fouls it off into left again. That's what, 8 or 9 in a row now?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. You know, and for Trapp, that's at a certain point that kind of gets frustrating as a pitcher, because it's like we just want to move on to the next batter.
Oh yeah. So Trapp, the wind up, the pitch, trying to get Kerr out, and she fouls it off again.
You guessed it.
And she's getting frustrated. You can tell too. She walked back, she kind of slapped her hand to her knee. She wants to hit this ball, and she's not happy to be approaching the 17th pitch of this at-bat. As Grace Trapp probably has doubled her pitch count with Kerr alone here.
Easily.
And will stand in with the wind up, the pitch. Oh! And she got her out swinging. So took her 18 pitches, but Grace Trapp ends the inning with a K. And we'll go to the bottom of the first next. This is softball day in Hastings. All right, I'm going to sprint to the bathroom.
Tap the first recap, no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left on base. You're in the hole for Hastings. Clear leader on deck, Manny Chandler. Your leadoff batter will be number 22, Lauren Mull.
Here, Lauren Mull, number 22, who I believe was one of our volunteers today here at Softball Day in Hastings, and one of the PA announcers for the early youth games. And she will take ball 1 on the first pitch. So it's 0-0 the score, as a strikeout there. Wind up, swung on by Mull, kind of a floater over towards third, and the throw not in time, and Mull's around first, heading off over to second base, and she'll get there, aided by an error, a bad throw, but Lauren Mull over to second base and puts a runner in scoring position early for the Raiders.
Now by number 13, Maddie Chandler.
So it is 1-0 Mahtomedi here, as the Zephyrs did score a run in that inning. And so Maddie Chandler up to face right here for the Raiders with Mull on first. Had to double check that. I'm guessing the run scored on the single there. And we're focusing on that at bat, so we must have lost our vision there. Apologies about that. There's the fouled off into right by Chandler. Not into the pitcher right, but into right field. And so more foul balls here, only this time it's on the Hastings side with Maddie Chandler. JV softball here on KDWA and HCTV for the first time this year, as we're really happy to shine a spotlight on the up-and-comers in softball here in this community, as well as the ones who are chasing a state championship this year. We'll see them at 8 p.m. 1-0 Mahtomedi in the bottom of the first inning, as Chandler showed bunt and Mull's come all the way around to third. So that will put her on third base here. No scoreboard here at Vets Park, so we're doing everything manually here. So if there's been some goofs, we are manually scoring this, and so that would be part of the reason why.
And it's been a long day worth of games.
This is the 8th game I've worked today. And a strike is called there on Maddie Chandler. Not sure she was a fan of that one, but she takes the strike, and it should be 2-2. 3-2, I believe. See, we're manually scoring things. We'll get them wrong sometimes. 3-2.
We're trying our best.
3-2. And she'll bunt. She'll pop it up into the air, and it's caught for the out. And Lauren Mull heads back over to first base. So Maddie Chandler away for the out. And now we will see stepping in for the Raiders, Claire Reeder, who plays third base tonight. And again, we will have varsity coming up a little bit later on, and it will be senior night. Interesting to have senior night at Vets Park and not over at the softball field, but I guess it's the last game of the year. It's when you should have senior night. It's your last home game, as that one's fouled off by Reeder out of here and over into the parking lot. 18 pitches is probably the longest at bat I've ever called, and I don't know if we'll see another one like that tonight. Wright, wearing Michael Jordan's 23, stands in for Mahtomedi. The windup and take a ball there, so that will make it 1-1 for Claire Reeder. Still got Mull over there on third with one away for the Raiders in this bottom of the first inning. They will go the full 7. They've been playing 65-minute games in the youth games. And in the earlier games, they had a 5-run rule where if you scored 5 runs, you were done batting in that inning. Once we got through to the upper levels of youth ball, they stopped doing that rule and just went with the 65 minutes. But we will play a full 7 in both of these games tonight unless we run short on time, which would mean that we want to go into the varsity window. And that one is popped up into the air by Reeder, and the catch is dropped. And so Reeder's around first, heading over to second. Mull will stay at third. And so now you have 2 runners in scoring position for Hastings. Reeder on second, Mull on third, and that's going to bring in Olivia Otto to try to drive in 2 here. And a brief conversation coming with Wright on the circle here for the Zephyrs. So what kind of conversation do you think they're having over there?
Game plan of action, basically.
Yeah. So you were a pitcher, or?
I did a little bit of a lot of things, but I pitched for about 9 years, played middle infield, or otherwise kind of wherever they wanted me. Yeah, but
so as a pitcher, when the coach comes in like that and all the infielders come in to have a discussion with you, what's going through your head?
Honestly, I think you kind of know as a pitcher why the coach is coming out there, because in situations like this, I feel like it's more of communication among teammates versus when she's coming out to pull you and you know you're in trouble, you realize where that point is.
Well, this doesn't look like it's going to be a change, but it looks like it's kind of a team meeting, and I doubt that they're singing Kumbaya out there.
Not likely.
But Hastings with runners on second and third as we've reached peak sunlight, and so as a result it is scorching in our tent now. But second and third the runners, and Olivia Otto will step in now for Hastings. Again, runners on second and third, trying to drive in 2 here with 1 out in the bottom of the first of this JV high school softball game as part of softball day in Hastings. Here's the wind up, the pitch dribbled into the dirt. Mull hanging out on third now, and you will still have Reeder over On second due up is Sylvander and Meyer for Hastings. With Wright still in the circle for Mahtomedi here. Wind up the pitch and in for a strike. So that will make it 1-1 on Olivia Otto here. Bottom of the first, 1 out. 8th game of a 10-game slate, but we covered 9 of those 10 games. There was 1 game over on field 2 at the same time as another one. And unfortunately, we weren't able to cover that one, as that one is a strike thrown on Otto. So 1-2. Here's the windup. And that one will be, actually that is strike 2, so I had it flipped. So it's 2-2 now. And I mean, it's easy to figure out. They don't show the signal for ball, they show the signal for strike. But it's, and so right, the wind up the pitch, and that one is going to be a strikeout there for Olivia Otto. She fans on that pitch, that's 2 away. And Lauren Mull's just been chilling on third base for what feels like an eternity now. But she's just 60 feet from the bag. And now it's going to be up to Brooke Sylvander with Lauren Meyer and Callie Celine up for the Raiders to follow. And Sylvander will take a strike there. 0-1 the count. Sylvander, okay. Sylvander, apologies about that. Well, that's why we have people here to help us. And Sylvander will take a strike. So 0-2 the count.
It takes a village.
It does take a village, and as I said when I first got this job, is that if I ever pronounce your kid's name wrong, please don't hesitate to let us or me know, because I want to make sure I get it right. And Sylvander will foul that one off over into right. She'll keep the at-bat alive, 0-2. My last name is not spelled the way it's pronounced, so I get a lot of mispronunciations myself, so I understand how it feels. I've also been called Trent before, so I do understand how it feels to get your name pronounced wrong. As Sylvander fans on that one for strike 3, and Hastings will strand 2 there, and they trail 1-0 going to the second on a windy Saturday night. This is softball day in Hastings.
Should I be saying more? You're doing all right. Yeah, okay.
Bottom of the first recap, no runs, no hits, 2 errors, 2 left on base. In the hole for Mahtomedi, 29 on the field. On deck, 12 Nick Strum, and your next batter will be 15 Olivia Boyle.
Like you said, you're shaking off the rust.
Yeah.
That's good.
Number 15, Olivia Boyle.
Olivia Boyle up here from Mahtomedi to start things off in the second, and guess what? She fouls it off.
Seems to be the theme of this game so far.
Seems to be the theme of this game. Again, that 18-pitch at-bat for Kendall Kerr in the last one, and she ended up striking out. So that ended the inning, and a good start to that one, as we said on the mound, for Grace Trapp. That one is thrown as a ball, so that gets evened up 1-1. As this is we've had some issues with the wind today, but clear skies, barely any clouds. We won't have to deal with any thunderstorms like we had earlier this week. 2 inches of rain in an hour. Yikes.
Yeah.
So that one is dribbled in for a ball. I was driving back from, where was I actually? I believe I was driving back from Tartan actually, and I saw the clouds coming, and I was like, oh boy.
Oh no.
And I made it back in time. But
That's good.
this one is a dribbler over towards the shortstop. Throw to first is in time for the out. Nice job on the throw there by number 22 for Hastings. And we'll get that here. That's Lauren Mull. Okay, so the one who's been working with me all day, Lauren Mull, and that one's fouled off into working with us all day. As she and I don't remember the other was. I wonder if was it Selesky that was working the mic as well, Addie Selesky. I want to say I might be wrong about that, but the wind up here, that one thrown high. I'm still learning this area, still learning the people here, but. We've got Onyx Sturm up here, and she's got a 1-1 count for Mahtomedi. 1-0, top of the second, one out. Here's the windup. The pitch swung on by Sturm for a strike. That'll make it 1-2. So in a 1-2 count, what's going through the head of both of these players here?
Ooh, from a pitcher's perspective, you're ahead, and you just want to get it in there. Down the stovepipe, just like that, or catcher swinging.
Yep, and they will strike her out, so that is 2 away for the Zephyrs, and after loading the bases in the top of the innings, first inning here, Hastings has only allowed 1 run so far. Trapp doing pretty well there in the circle, and we'll see Ellie Newfield, Lexi Berg, and then back to the top of the order for Mahtomedi. Thrown high for ball 1 here between Hastings and Mahtomedi in this JV game. The wind up, the pitch dribbles in there on Ellie Newfield, and so 0-2 the count. Mahtomedi obviously very successful program in baseball and hockey. They went to the state tournament in hockey last year. They won the state tournament in baseball. They played the Raiders twice yesterday in baseball, and unfortunately for Hastings, they won both. As a ball thrown there. And so obviously a very accomplished athletics program over there at Mahtomedi, and Hastings is a very accomplished athletics program in its own right, and duking it out here tonight. Wind up the pitch and swung on for a strike. So Trapp gets one back there, 3-1. Hastings beat Mahtomedi in hockey this year, and one of the best hockey games of the year in the whole state. Wind up, pitch, thrown high, ball 4. And Ellie Newfield is off with a walk to first base, so that'll bring up the DP. Lexi Berg, and again, as we mentioned, DP and flex players can swap roles, but only on a limited basis. And so Berg will be the DP, but if Wright comes into pinch run, she doesn't get to do that very much. Here's the wind up, the pitch in on Berg as Newfield remains over on first base. So the first baseman for Hastings is Olivia Otto, number 12. Facing Lexi Berg here is Grace Trapp. The windup swung on, and that's getting down for a base hit into left field. And so the runners will advance over to first and second. And as a result of that, Mahtomedi puts a runner in scoring position here in the top of the second inning, but there's 2 away. So a big at-bat coming up here for Grace Trapp.
We're now back to the top of the order with Ellie Kustrich.
Yep. And then Annika Martin to follow, but again, only 1 more out here, and they'll try to strand 2 more runners as they did in the first inning. Here's Trapp, the windup, and Kustrich will fan on that one. Kind of one of those running swings. And 0-1 the count for Kustrich here.
Looks like she was going for what you would call a slap hit or a slap bunt.
Slap hit, yeah, that's what the word I was looking for. As that one thrown outside for a ball, that will even things up for Kustrich here. 1-1. It's about a 45-minute drive from Mahtomedi, so they had easily the longest drive of the day for anybody here at Softball Day in Hastings. As the windup there swung on, a chopper over towards first. The throw to Otto is not in time, and Mahtomedi has loaded the bases here with 2 outs. And a big spot coming up here for Grace Trapp on the mound for Hastings. with 3 on and 2 away in a 1-0 game in the top of the second inning. So bases loaded scenarios, a lot of pressure here.
Definitely, yeah. In Hastings, they need to get this out here. Otherwise, they run the risk of getting a score on the board.
Absolutely, as that one dribbles in for a ball. So you've got Newfield on third, Berg on second, Kustrich on first, and now you've got Annika Martin stepping in here for Mahtomedi. And that one is thrown outside for a ball. If you're with us earlier, I was talking about my battery pack, and I've had it on all day long. This is the 8th game I've had it on for, and it's at 78%. So get you one of those battery packs.
That is incredible.
Phenomenal job.
Wow.
As 0-3, or 3-0, the count here for Annika Martin against Grace Trapp, trying to finish off this inning with the bases loaded, and a walk here would score a run. Wind up the pitch, high ball 4, and so she does just that, unfortunately, sending Annika Martin off to first and bringing in Ellie Newfield to make it 2-0 Mahtomedi. So still 2 outs on the board. Top of the second inning, we go to Riley Bogren with Julia Rodzinski on deck. And now the catcher for Hastings coming over to have a conversation with Grace Trapp. And that is number 20, I believe, for the Raiders.
2 outs and 1 run in. Batting
Number 20 would be Lauren Meyer, I do believe.
And I believe she is the catcher out there for Hastings. So here is Bogren facing Trapp here. And Trapp threw that one outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count on Bogren. As Grace Trapp swung on, popped up into left. That's going to go foul, and the catch won't be made. So that's going to send the pinch runner who's on for Mahtomedi back over to third. And we'll see pinch runner. Actually, that's Lexi Berg. So my apologies. That's still Lexi Berg over there on third.
It's good effort from Elena Christopher out there and left to try and get there in time, but it was all the way to the fence, and there's a lot of room over there.
There's,
so
it's definitely a roomy. You could fit an entire studio apartment in there over there in the,
pretty much,
on the left side. As I think that was a ball thrown there on Riley Bogren. Trapp in the circle still for Hastings, working her second inning of work with a 2-0 deficit here. And Bogren will swing on this one. Trapp racing to make the play, and 1 run comes in from Mahtomedi. That brings in Lexi Berg. So Newfield has scored, Berg has scored, and Kustrich has come around to third. Martin's on second, Bogren's on first. 3-0 Mahtomedi with 2 outs here in the top of the second inning.
I think that was just one of those miscommunications that I mentioned earlier. I mean, as a team, you've got to be talking. Otherwise, you get things like that happening where who's going where when.
That one's dribbled in, and this is going to be a steal of home plate. The throw is not in time. And they're going to say Kustrich stole home and made it 4-0 Mahtomedi. She was sitting there 60 feet from the bag. She saw the wild pitch. She hesitated for a second, and then she decided, I'm coming home, and she beat the tag.
I think they had the ball there in time, but it looked like the Trapp couldn't quite keep possession of it to get the tag.
So Trapp, who's now been seeing the front of her jersey get a little dirtied up here. And the wind up, the pitch way high. Another wild pitch that's going to score another run. Oh, they say they got her. That one got her in time, and that will end the inning. The ump said, show me, and then threw the out. I've never heard an ump say that before. And so, nonetheless, they do get out of the inning, but Hastings does put a 4 spot now down, and they're down 4. It's Mahtomedi 4, Hastings nothing. This is softball day in Hastings.
I have never seen them do that. I mean, they've seen it, but I've never said I want to see that all the time now.
So Lauren Meyer is up to start things off here in the bottom of the second inning for Hastings. Down 4-0 now. Mahtomedi has gotten on base quite a bit here early on in this game. Wright sends it in on Meyer low, and that one will be ball number 1. So Celine and Christopher to follow Meyer here. As the windup, the pitch swung on and fouled off, and that one I thought was going to go all the way into the field behind us, but it kind of trickled over into the hospitality tent over there.
Yeah, it caught itself on a tree, slowed down some of the velocity coming off that.
And so Meyer stands in now with a 1-1 count as a result of that foul ball. Here's Wright, the windup, the pitch. That one is in again for ball 2. One of the youth games earlier today, I think it was one of the U12 games, they had 4 strikeouts in a row to start the game.
Wow.
I believe that was the Prescott game that was the 30-0 final.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think that was that
right.
game. There was a game that was 30-0 today.
Mm-hmm.
Hastings versus one of the Prescott teams. Hastings won all the U10 games and all the U12 games, but fell in the U14 game to Cottage Grove 4-2. That was a really fun game also. Went about 3 innings. Here's the windup. Dribbled in, and Meyer heads off over to first base, and the Raiders have a base runner on here in the bottom half
She's looking around
of
it
the
too.
second, and they throw her out at first. Oh, my goodness. So she started leaning into second and got caught in a bad spot, and she's out at first, and that's 1 away for the Raiders here in the bottom of inning number 2.
Great heads up by Ruzinski by the dish to catch her off guard out there.
And so Callie Celine, the right fielder now, will try to get on base for the Raiders in her first at-bat of the evening. And she'll fan on the first pitch. 0-1. JV softball here. Varsity to follow at 8 or as soon as we're done here. And Celine chops this one over towards first, and that one is made on first base by Radzinski for the second out. So quickly 2 away here for the Raiders in this bottom of the second inning. So Elena Christopher will get her first crack at it tonight for the Raiders against Abby Wright of Mahtomedi here. Wright, the windup, the pitch, dribbles in for ball. Hastings, I know varsity played last night. They took on North St. Paul. They lost by a run, and so they'll look to get the right direction. I don't know the score of the JV game, but the windup, the pitch here from Wright on Christopher. That one's outside for ball 2. So 2-0 on Elena Christopher here.
I know the story of the season for a lot of these schools has just been back-to-back-to-back games, and
Yep.
you can imagine that there's some burnout that's going to happen.
Oh,
at that
absolutely, especially because of the weather, as Christopher fouls that off, but the catch was made. And are they going to say that it bounced before it got there? They are.
It did.
So she will stay alive. Yeah, I know
Boy,
the beginning of this spring season has been absolutely nuts. And Prescott had a game Thursday, Friday, 2 today, and then 1 on Tuesday, I believe.
Wow.
And then on Monday as well. So they've basically been playing a game every day except Sunday this week over there in Prescott.
At least they give them one day off.
Not allowed to play on Sundays. Which begs the question, what happens if the state tournament championship gets rained out on Saturday? That one's thrown to the, they just move that to Monday then?
Probably, if that's the case.
State tournament for Hastings will be down in North Mankato, June 9th and June 10th, down there at Caswell Park. Raiders were in the top half of their section on the varsity side, as Christopher will take a ball here and get walked over to first base. And so now we will see Nora Thermos step in for Hastings here. Believe she's related to John Thermos, the director of softball. They would think so, at least.
It would make sense.
And Wright, the windup. So Thermos, and then it looks like we're going to see a pinch hitter for Grace Trapp Nope, sorry, Lauren Moll's in the on-deck circle. So we'll be back to the top of the order. So Trapp's not hitting. She is just on our score sheet, but it will be back to the top of the order. And Moll and Thermos gets one down for a base hit. Christopher off the second, Thermos to first. So a single into right for Nora Thermos has put Elena Christopher into scoring position for Hastings, and she got a good piece of that one.
Now batting number 22, Lauren Ball.
She found the perfect gap out there, right between the infield and the
Yeah,
outfield.
there's quite a space between center and right fielders out there right now for Mahtomedi. As Lauren Moll stands in, and she gets a piece of this one over to left. It dribbles over to the shortstop. Throw to first is in time for the third out. So Hastings won't score, but they do put 2 on. They get a couple of hits, and it's 4-0 Mahtomedi. We head to the third inning next. This is softball day in Hastings.
Just some watching kids in the background hit a ball into their ankle. Well, I just looked off my side and saw a kid hit a ball into their ankle.
So we mentioned earlier about, manual scoring in these games with no scoreboard. It's 3-0 Mahtomedi. As a result, there was a run that was put on the board in the first inning, and we were talking during the break, and somebody came over and said that the hit by pitch was the one that was in question, and the girl that was at third base did not come home to score, which is what we thought.
Right.
But it's 3-0 Mahtomedi instead of 4-0. So we do apologize for that scoring error, but it is fixed. And it is another inning of work here for Grace Trapp. So we were onto something.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Here's what it is.
I think
And
everybody had a different answer back here.
Well, there was one game earlier today where we didn't know if it was 8, 9, 10, or 11
Right.
runs that were on the board, as Mahtomedi's Julia Rudzinski pops this one up.
I think that was in the middle of the
30
score
the 30
game,
to nothing game, yeah. As that was just a hitting clinic by that U12 team for Hastings.
Yeah, it sure was.
In that game. As Grace Trapp still working on Rudzinski here and pops that foul. I think there's been more fouls than hits, obviously, in this game. But
yeah,
Olivia Jensen now in left field for Hastings. And so there's one change out there in the fielding error or fielding order. As Rudzinski gets that down, a nice catch at the second base, and the catch is made at first by Olivia Otto. So Maddie Chandler made a great play, and then on one knee tossed it over towards Olivia Otto at first base, and that's one away for the Zephyrs here in the top of inning number 3. Almost said inning number 3rd. And now Kendall Kerr will step in here for the Zephyrs, and she'll foul it off again.
Well, who could have guessed?
Kerr had an 18 pitch at bat in her first at bat, which about 14 of were foul balls. And so she will continue on here for the Zephyrs. with an 0-1 count in this top of the third inning. And the wind up, the pitch from Trapp, that's a fan from Kerr. So that puts her down 0-2 quickly here with one away and nobody on for Mahtomedi here in the top half of the third after that great throw out at first base from Chandler and Otto. Swung on by Kerr, and the throw to drop strikeout, and they will get her out for out number 2 there with the dropped third strike. So that's 2 quickly away for Mahtomedi here. Good news if you're a fan of Hastings native Derek Stepan. His season will continue. Carolina Hurricanes win game 7-3-2 over the Boston Bruins and will play again next week. That one is thrown in there for a ball on Olivia Boyle as Grace Trapp trying to get this third out and limit any base running at all from Mahtomedi. Boyle pops this one up, and Otto makes the catch. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Zephyrs there. And we will go to the bottom of the third with the score Mahtomedi 3, Hastings 0. This is softball day in Hastings.
Third recap, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. Mahtomedi leads 3-0. 2 up for Hastings in the hole. Olivia Otto on deck. Claire Reeder, your next batter, number 13, Maddie Chandler.
And back here on KWA and HCTV as the dancing continues over there in the stands. The fans are enjoying themselves here in this one. It's been a very enjoyable day. Really fun to put the spotlight on softball and youth softball here this afternoon and early this morning. And now we're into the high school portion of the day.
We have an incredible crowd on hand today.
Yeah, it's been a very fun day. Great turnout from Hastings, Cottage Grove, and Prescott. And now the Mahtomedi contingent getting to experience Vets Park as Abby Wright will throw a strike here on Maddie Chandler on the first pitch. Vets Park is obviously kind of the go-to baseball facility here in Hastings, other than Grossman Field, where the high school fields, I guess I should say. That one's kind of a throw, a chopper over towards the first baseman, the second baseman, and the out is made at first base for Maddie Chandler as Mother Nature starts to wreak a little bit of havoc on us here in terms of the wind, and now that was
Ellie Kustrich
making the throw back to first base, and now Claire Reeder will step in for the Raiders here. As the dancing continues on your TV screen here on HCTV there. A lot of fun, a lot of fans out here enjoying themselves and experiencing a fun-filled day full of softball. As that one will roll in on Reeder for ball number 1. "16 hours of coverage today of softball. Can't ask for anything better on a Saturday afternoon. As that one will be ball 2 thrown on Claire Reeder with Olivia Otto and Brooke Sylvander still due up for the Raiders here. And the windup and the pitch, and that one is fanned on for a strike by Reeder. So if you're not watching on HCTV and you're listening on KDWA, there is no dugout at this facility, at least this field. There are 2 kind of bleachers on either side that serve as the dugout, so it's an outdoor dugout here. As Reeder bounces that one over towards second base, throw to first is made for out number 2. And so now we will see Hastings continue on in their order again as Another good throw by Kustrich over there. And we will see Brooke Sylvander, who struck out in her first at-bat, and step in. 2 away here in this bottom of the 3rd inning. Mahtomedi clinging to a 3-run lead in this JV kickoff to the doubleheader on the nightcap.
Taking a brief moment here while Mahtomedi's shortstop takes a break to tie her shoe. Kendall Court.
Saw that yesterday in the baseball game. The Mahtomedi pitcher took a break to tie his shoe.
Oh.
So they might need to get some tighter shoes over there.
I think so. Or just start with some double knots.
As Sylvander will take a, can't remember. I think that was a ball on the first pitch.
High.
Yeah, never saw a signal for strike, but I never saw him say ball either. So I just stood there. So 1-0 the count for Sylvander.
And I believe we are still on Olivia Otto.
Okay, Olivia Otto. So Sylvander walked into the on-deck circle, but it is Otto up there for Hastings, and she will take the strike here. It's been a 12-hour day so far, so bound to get a few things wrong here and there.
Lots of brain fry happening.
But it's all right.
And you have been here much longer than I.
Not complaining at all. Here's the windup. That one bounces in for a ball. And so we have this now on Olivia Otto as 2-1. As Wright has gone the distance so far from Mahtomedi. That one's thrown high, 3-1. And so Olivia Otto in a really good spot here, Ashley.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pitcher's or a hitter's count. She can be selective with the next pitch. She's got that freedom.
Either gets walked or gets to stay alive unless she pops it up. And she will take a ball 4. Late signal from the ump, but she heads off to first base with a walk, and so Olivia Otto reaches, and now we will see Brooke Sylvander step in with Lauren Meyer into the on-deck circle.
And that was a really close miss from Wright, too. That genuinely could have gone either way, at least from the angle that I'm looking at it. But I think it was probably just off the plate.
So Abby Wright in the circle for Mahtomedi, facing Brooke Sylvander here. She'll swing on the first pitch and miss, with Olivia Otto over on first base for the Raiders here. As we are reaching twilight in Hastings tonight. Sunset should be around 8:30 or so this game will be in full light.
Right,
as the
flashing
throw back
the leather.
over towards first, and the out is made to end the bottom half of the 3rd. So we are 3 innings in, 3-0 Mahtomedi in this JV game. This is softball day in Hastings.
Missing a cell phone that has a wallet thing attached to it, I may or may not be in possession of it. You come talk to me along the fence under the blue tarp. I will confirm that you've matched the picture in the driver's license that's in here as well. So if you're missing a cell phone, come on get it. Say it was left in the ladies' room, so guys don't even bother coming up.
Back here at softball day, which is now softball night in Hastings, which is really kind of a take on hockey day in Minnesota, which is what I was told by the event directors here. Obviously, Hockey Day in Minnesota is a fun day where schools in Minnesota get to play and showcase of youth hockey around the state. So this one is kind of a take on youth softball here in Hastings. As you can see, a little bit more action over on the other lying fields here, if you're watching on HCTV. So Ellie Stevens has been announced in a new role here for the Raiders, I believe. As Trapp throws this one in for Mahtomedi's number 12, Onyx Sturm, who struck out in her only at-bat so far tonight. I believe that Stevens out in right field, I want to say. And that one is swung on by Sturm, popped up foul, and it should be 1-1 the count. That is not Ellie Stevens in right field.
Anna Jensen.
Anna Jensen is now over there in right field. So there's been a couple of changes to the fielding for the Raiders tonight. Trap threw that one in there on Sturm. Trap waiting now to wind up and throw this one in again. It's swung on, popped up by Sturm, foul, and racing back to get it. And that one, I think, hit the top of our tent and bounced out of play. Really, just amazed with the turnout we have here tonight. Just a really well put together event, and everybody out here enjoying a fun-filled day, as we said, all day today of softball.
Yeah, it's incredible to see all the support from the community for this sport. It's so positive and it's so great, and hopefully that'll promote some growth.
Yeah, and we saw today 6 of the 7 youth teams won, and they're playing Cottage Grove and Prescott, who we know, especially Prescott, has quite a softball history.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they do.
There's that's got to be a pretty good feeling for the future of softball here in Hastings.
Definitely.
As that one is outside for a ball, and that will send Onyx Sturm off to first and bring in Ellie Newfield up next for Mahtomedi. Top of the 4th, no outs on the board here. We play 7 scheduled, and looking like we're going to be pretty good to get that in the 2-hour window here. As Trap, the windup, showing bunt is Newfield, and she will foul that one off because, of course. And
you know. That's just what we're doing today.
And so now we will have, and that's not any of her fault at all. It's just
certainly not.
funny to see how many we've had here.
Exactly, yeah. Once you start that, it just becomes a trend.
And Trap throws it in. This one is bunted again by Newfield and fouled off again. And so 3-0 Mahtomedi here, top of the 4th with 1 runner on and no outs in the inning. Trey Lauer, Ashley Bowes with you on both KDWA and HCTV. As Grace Trap in the circle here for Hastings. Swung on by Newfield, out into center. It gets down in front of everybody for a base hit, and there was some confusion there. Sturm was still on first because she thought it was going to be a pop-up, and she didn't take off for second until Newfield got to first. But they both reach now, so Sturm is now on second, Newfield now on first, and that was kind of a miscommunication on both sides there.
Yeah, definitely. I think Anique Sturm did the right thing in that situation, though, because if it's skied and you think it's going to be a simple play in the infield, you stay there.
Yeah.
So you can't blame her for that.
And so now we'll see Lexi Berg in here from Mahtomedi to face Grace Trap. The windup fouled off by Berg into the backstop for strike number 1. So Trap has trying to work on her 4th inning here. Has done fairly well to limit the damage. 3 runs have come in, but that's about it. Berg shows bunt, but Trap will throw it in high. One thing I've noticed about softball too, especially with a school like, Prescott over there, is they use the same pitchers quite a bit, and that's obviously because arm injuries aren't as big of a arm fatigue, I guess is a better word to use. Not as big of a deal as it is on the baseball side, as Berg will foul off a bunt here.
They're calling
that fair. Hastings thought it was foul. They call it fair. And so Berg will load the bases here for Mahtomedi. So getting back to my question here about, that is, there's a conversation now over there with Grace Trap. It's the pitching motion that's different in softball, we all know. And is that kind of what plays a role in the ability to use the same pitchers kind of consecutively?
Yeah, that is true, because so the way you pitch in softball, that underhand motion is actually a natural motion versus how they pitch in baseball. It's unnatural. Your arm is not necessarily meant to be moving that way, which thus increases the amount of injuries you see in baseball. So, I mean, as long as you take care of yourself and you follow technique in softball, you can continuously pitch for games in a row and be okay.
Yeah, I believe we've seen that a couple. We might probably see that with Haley Strain tonight as well for Hastings. I think she's pitched consecutively on a number of occasions tonight or this year for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Now in for Mahtomedi is Ellie Kustrich in the top of the order, and she fouls it off into left. She was in here helping out also earlier today. Also a really solid basketball player for the Raiders. A lot of multi-sport athletes in this city. Wind up, swung on by Kustrich, fouled off again, and that lands behind our tent. We heard it hit the ground there. Mere feet from the back of our tent here. 3-0 lead for Mahtomedi, top of the fourth. No outs, and the bases loaded. Tough spot for Grace Trapp here, as Kustrich will take a ball here. So that will be 2-1, 1-2 for Kustrich. So with the situation here, if Trapp gets out of this, I expect we'd see her continue, but has some work to do here. Swung on by Kustrich. Oh, Trapp makes the play and can't get the throw to Otto at first. 1 run will score, 2 runs will score to make it 5-0. Berg will get to third. Kustrich is over towards second, and Mahtomedi increases their lead to 5-0. It was a great play by Trapp, but then the throwback to Otto was a little offline. And now we will see a conversation with Grace Trapp here. And they're digging off the mound, and I wonder if we're going to see a change here.
Yeah, now we're reaching the point where it is possible that they may pull her. And that's not to say that she's doing a bad job by any stretch of the imagination, but eventually at a certain point in the game, the other team starts to figure out the pitcher that you've got on the rubber, the speed, everything, like what kind of pitches you're throwing, and they can start to capitalize on that once they figure it out.
It's going to be Brooke Sylvander going in to pitch here for Hastings, and so that will be the pitching change as Sylvander trots out to the mound, and while they get that pitching change figured out, we will take a quick commercial break. This is softball day in Hastings.
Position change for Hastings, now on the mound. Brooke Sylvander now in center field, Grace Trapp.
My dreams finally come true. Yeah, dude in a red flannel versus all the cool people.
Back here at softball day in Hastings, night edition, or early evening edition, I guess. As a couple of changes here for the Raiders, with Brooke Sylvander moving in from center to the mound. They've put Michaela Steele over into center field, and Grace Trapp appears to have gone to the dugout. So it will be Steele in center. Sylvander now on the mound with a 5-0 lead for Mahtomedi here in the top of the fourth with no outs. And they will bunt this one off. Will Anique Sturm, the throw to first in time for the out, but 1 run will score. And so it's 6-0 Mahtomedi here now in the top of the fourth. They get 1 out, but there are still runners on third here. As I believe over on third, that is going to be Kustrich, I believe.
With 1 out, 6-0, and now batting is 17, Riley Bogren.
So Riley Bogren batting here for Mahtomedi with a 6-0 advantage now in this top of the fourth. Wind up, and strike thrown there by Sylvander. So she gets her first strike on the night, and that'll be a confidence booster.
Starting off on a good note for sure.
And Sylvander, the windup, and fouled off. And that one bounced through the fence and into the parking lot. We saw one earlier today. I remarked on it. It may have been caught on a hot mic, and I apologize about that. But it bounced up into the air, landed, rolled under the fence, then bounced back up into the air and landed into the parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Defied physics is what it did.
Crazy.
And that one's in for a ball on Riley Bogren. I think it bounced off the bleacher and then rolled back up into the air and landed back in the parking lot. But it rolled under the fence and came up, which was unique at the situation. As Bogren popped that one over into the air, fouled that one off into left. And so that will put it at 1 and 2 again for Bogren here, facing Sylvander. So again, Brooke Sylvander now on the mound for Hastings here, with Grace Trapp going about 4 innings. Look, I guess they'll give her credit for 3 because she didn't record any outs in this inning. So Sylvander's gone a third so far. Here's the windup and fouled off again by Bogren into left and into the lawn chairs over there in left field. So Sylvander, wearing number 1 for the Raiders, digs in and sends that one high, and that's going to bring in a run. So Kustrich comes home on the wild pitch to make it 7-0 Mahtomedi here. And is the run rule in effect for high school softball as well? I believe it's 10 runs.
After the 5th.
Yeah, after the 5th. We're not near there yet, but it's unfortunately getting a little tight.
Yeah, that is something that may come into effect. We'll just have to see how the game continues.
Now, yesterday in baseball did not happen at all, so that's a positive sign as well.
Yeah.
But I did mention HCTV was there for what was probably the craziest baseball game of the season, where Hastings was up 4-0, down 5-4, up 10-5, tied 10-10, and then run-ruled South St. Paul in 1 inning after that with a 10-run inning.
Wow.
That was one of the most insane baseball games I've ever seen in my life, and we were there for that with HCTV last week.
Wow. That's that's all over the board.
So Sylvander pops that one over towards the third baseman. The throw to Otto. Not in time, and she will reach first, Will Bogren. And so now we'll see Julia Rudzinski step in here for Mahtomedi. Everybody over here is remarking about how crazy that game was last week.
Yeah, apparently I really missed out on something.
But, and so Rudzinski here to face Sylvander. 7-0 lead for Mahtomedi in the top of this 4th. So fan on the first pitch, the throw to second, not in time. And Bogren slides in over there with Mull, who was right over there to try to make the play, but was unable to do so as they're trying to record these final 2 outs of this 4th inning and send us to the bottom half.
That looked like an intentional play to me, too.
It did, as that's popped up into the air towards left, into foul territory. The catch is made for out number 2.
Wow.
And then they'll try to take out number 3, a Bogren at third, but she gets there before they will be able to tag her out. So she puts herself 60 feet from home plate.
Just a total foot race between Bogren and Claire Reeder over there at third.
And unfortunately for Reeder, Bogren was able to beat her to it.
Wow.
And so now we will see Sylvander continue to go to work here against Kendall Kerr. And we'll see if she gets another 18 pitch at bat here and fouls that one off again. That's got to be her 12th or 13th foul ball in this game. Which we only remark that because it's an interesting statistic. We're not making fun of her in any way.
No.
And
just as interesting how things always seem to just, they happen.
That one dribbles in for a ball. 7-0 is the score here. 2 outs, top of the 4th. Sylvander looking to get this last out on the board and get this to the bottom of the 4th with a chance for the Raiders to get some runs on the board here and get into this game. That one's in for a ball. So 2-1, the count here on Kendall Kerr, with Olivia Boyle due up on deck and Neek Sturm to follow. The wind up and the pitch That one gets away. The run's going to score. It's 8-0. A wild pitch brings in Riley Bogren. And Mahtomedi has extended this lead to 8-0 here in the top of inning number 4. The 2 outs in the frame. And so Sylvander trying to get this last out and limit the damage for the Raiders. Varsity game scheduled for 8. Dribbles in and they will walk Kendall Kerr here and send her off to first base. So she's on first now with 2 outs, and the only one on is Kerr.
Now we have officially batted everyone in Mahtomedi's lineup this inning.
We've batted around, and Olivia Boyle will step in now for the Zephyrs. She started things off in this inning. Boyle so far tonight with a ground out and a fly out. That one is in for a ball, so 1-0 on Olivia Boyle here. Again, thanks for being with us. KDWA and HCTV, they try to pick off the runner there at first. And what is the signal here? That took forever to make the call as Kerr slid in. Otto at first kept the ball there. There was never a signal, so she just kept the ball on Kerr's back there.
They were waiting for time to be called.
She got back on us safely there, and this time they will hit Olivia Boyle, and so she will head off to first base, put runners on first and second for Anique Sturm to try to drive in a run here for Mahtomedi. So 8-0 in the 4th with 2 outs. Sturm facing Brooke Sylvander, who's come in here to relieve Grace Trapp, and a strike thrown on the first pitch by Brooke Sylvander. And so obviously a lot on the board in this inning for Mahtomedi, and Hastings will have their work cut out for them in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the windup, the pitch low into the dirt for a ball. Top of the 4th, 2 outs. The 8th game of our 9-game slate here today in softball day in Hastings. As Brooke Sylvander looking for this last out of the inning. Wind up, pitch, ball thrown. That will make it 2-1 on Brooke Sylvander here. Or excuse me, Sylvander's on the mound on
Anique Sturm.
Anique Sturm here, yeah. Sylvander digs in, the windup. Threw that one high for ball 3, and so this is turning into a precarious situation for Sylvander, as she will look to try and not get the bases loaded here. Sylvander will throw a strike, and she'll get it filled up 3-2. Great comeback there by Brooke Sylvander. So a chance to do it one more time and finish off this inning with a strikeout, which would be a huge momentum shift for her and for this team. The windup and the pitch. And they got her.
Yep.
She got the strikeout, and that's the momentum that they needed to start off this 4th. But it's Mahtomedi 8, Hastings nothing. Bottom of the 4th next. This is softball day in Hastings.
Top of the 4th recap, 5 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, 2 left on base. Mahtomedi leads 8-0. Due up for Hastings in the hole. Anna Jensen on deck. Ellie Stevens, your next batter will be 20, Lauren Meyer.
Back here at softball day in Hastings on KDWA and on Not sure what Hunter's laughing about over there, but oh, laughing at one of his HCTV cameras. Okay, so again, if you're not following us on social media, you could do so. Follow us on Twitter at KDWA1460. You can also, what is it, at Hastings Community TV on Twitter? What is your Twitter name here?
That's a
Hunter,
great question.
Hunter ignored me. So
He's
okay.
ignoring us,
So
yeah.
what's your Twitter handle for people that want to follow you on Twitter? No, HCTV's. Hastings TV 14. Okay. So at KWA 1460. He gave me his personal.
Or at Hunter Pinky.
He gave me his personal Twitter account. Okay. Bobble over towards first. The catch is made for out number 1. And 1 is away for Mahtomedi. I could give out my personal. I've done it before. But just joshing you, Hunter.
A little shameless self-promotion.
A little shameless plug, yeah, a little bit there. But yeah, we've been here since 6:30 in the morning, so we're a little tired, but we're working through it. Right, throws that one down into the dirt for a ball, as 1 away already here for the Raiders in this bottom of the 4th with 1 out. At KDWA 1460, at Hastings TV 14 on Twitter. Also follow us on social media, Hastings Community TV and KDWA. Popped up into the air.
Right in frame.
Considering starting an Instagram account for KDWA, but we will think about that a little bit more. Here's the windup. That one dribbles into the dirt. But our website, kdwa.com, is where you can find all your local news and all your local sports information. And of course, what does Hastings Community TV have coming up here? Coming up on the platform here. We've got lacrosse versus St. Thomas coming up. That's a big game because they're tied for first place. So that'll be a big game coming up. And we've got Hastings baseball against St. Thomas Academy on Monday. They're tied for 2nd in the conference with the loss to Mahtomedi last night for the Raiders. So
A couple good games on tap.
big games coming up. Popped up into the air here, fouled. They say look out below. And I don't know if that hit somebody or not, but everybody's kind of looking back over there.
I think I heard her say it almost hit a dog.
Ooh.
We don't like that.
No, we don't want to see that. Although they do like those tennis balls, but this isn't a tennis ball.
No,
This is
it's a little harder than that.
much harder than a tennis ball. So she is away now. Is Callie Celine. So Anna Jensen will come in to pinch hit for Mahtomedi, and next up in the order will be Nora Thermos. So this looks like a pinch hit for Elena Christopher here. The windup and the pitch, and Jensen will take that one outside for ball 1. So this is Jensen pitch hitting for Christopher. Bottom 4, 2 outs. And a ball thrown there on Jensen, so 2-0 the count. And battery pack update, 75%, going on 12 hours.
What is that last 1 or was it 1 or 3% from the last time you updated?
That one thrown outside for a ball as well, 3-0 the count. It's working on 5 watts right now, I think.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So
Wow, that is incredible.
gotta get yourself one of those.
Sure do.
Here's the windup, and that one will be a strike. So not quite walked just yet is Jensen. 3 balls and a strike in this 8-0 game against Mahtomedi in favor of the Zephyrs here in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs already on the board. And Jensen will get walked over to first base, and so now we'll see Nora Thermos step in and try to advance Jensen over there. So Nora Thermos stepping in for the Raiders here as AJR rings out over the loudspeakers.
It's doing a great job with the music today.
They've done a fantastic job with the music today, absolutely. As Thermos will fan on this first pitch from right down the middle. 8-0 lead for Mahtomedi in this bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. Right, the wind up, the pitch, fouled off by Thermos. So that puts it 0-2 in the count for her. We saw Stella Thermos earlier today. Have to believe that they could be maybe sisters.
Very possible. Happens a lot
Also
of the
saw
time.
Matzik and saw a couple Johnsons as well. I know that
Yep.
Nick Johnson, the head soft coach, I don't know if that's his kids, but
I don't know if his
popped
kids
up
are that old yet.
into the air, into right, and that one goes foul.
Though don't quote me on that. There are many Johnsons in Prescott.
You would
though.
know better than I would. It's probably, I don't know if that was is that the youngest Matzik sister, or was that?
Probably. I know there's a couple different Matzik families though, and I kind of lose track of them too.
There's several families like that probably here in Hastings too.
Oh, most certainly.
That's right. The windup and the pitch swung on by Thermos and fouled off. Can tell you now that Hastings varsity softball is already here and warming up for their game tonight.
It should be a good one.
That will be a fun one. I believe they've already played once this. Obviously, they've already played once this year, and I think I'll have to check the results from that one. I think that one is swung on hard into right, and they will call
Just
that
foul.
foul. It almost was a home run for Nora Thermos. That definitely looked like that was going to go yard.
Yeah, if she straightens that one out, that's definitely what Hastings needs right now. Got one runner out there. It's put up a couple.
Again, this is a Metro East clash. They are not in the same section or in the same class. Now, obviously, JV doesn't have a playoff, but kind of wish they did. That would be really neat to give the JV kids that same experience.
That would be super cool.
As Thermos fouls that one off.
It is kind of a bummer because at the end of JV season, it just ends, you know?
Well, and also, they do get to have more players available for the
Right.
postseason if they wanted to bring people up, but
Right.
I think it would be awesome for JV to have their own postseason.
Definitely.
As Nora Thermos still in this at-bat, and she'll take a
looking
strike
strikeout.
and get K'd there. And so that will end the inning, and we will go to the 5th inning next with the score Mahtomedi 8, Hastings nothing. This is softball day in Hastings. Mahtomedi won the first game 4-3.
Okay.
Bottom of the fourth recap, no runs, no hits, no errors, one left on base. Score remains 8-0, Mahtomedi. Due up for Mahtomedi in the hole, Ellie Kustrich on deck, Lexi Bird. Your next batter will be Ellie Newfield. Out to change the chances.
Back here at Softball Day in Hastings. I am KDWA's Trey Lauer alongside HCTV's Ashley Bose. And we're ready to go now for the top of the 5th inning here on this beautiful Saturday in Hastings. It finally feels like spring out.
I think we went straight to summer.
Well, yeah, true. We went from 20 to 70 in like a week.
Exactly.
So
More like a couple days.
yeah. As that one dribbles in for a ball. That's the start to this spring sports season was just so hard with
It
all
was.
the postponements and the reschedulings, with snowing in April, which the southern boy that I am, I'm not used to. But gotten used to it by now. But we're finally in a little bit of a rhythm here with this spring sports season as we come actually to the tail end of it. This was supposed to be the final regular season game, but I believe the Simley game on the 20th will now be it for at least the varsity side for Hastings, as it is back to
Ellie
Ellie
Newfield.
Newfield up here from Mahtomedi with a 3-0 count. So
Teams everywhere have just been packing in games
Oh,
lately.
yeah.
Like you said, the season's been so abbreviated, and it feels like they had to jam so much in
and
so
yeah,
quickly.
Hastings got 2 doubleheaders in for baseball this week. They have another on Monday. So they basically played They were supposed to play another game this week. That got suspended as Newfield gets walked over to first base. So they played 4 games in 2 days.
Wow.
And then they had a 5th game that has yet to be finished because we were playing Simley. We were up 5-1 in the bottom of the 3rd when Mother Nature decided to drop some hail, some rain, and a funnel cloud on us. So couldn't finish that game. And they'll make that up on Tuesday. Wind up in the pitch. And Berg fouls that one off, and I hope that didn't hit anything back there. As everybody looking back to find where that foul ball landed. But we're in the top of the 5th. Mahtomedi leading 8-0 here, and Sylvander still on the mound or in the circle. Is it a mound? Do they call it the mound? It's a circle, yeah.
The circle or the rubber?
The rubber, okay. So on the rubber is Sylvander here. I've always been calling it the circle, but I heard people referring to it as the mound earlier, so.
It's relatively universal, but.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a mound, it's a
not.
circle. But so.
The mound's baseball.
Sylvander throws that one high for a ball that's going to advance Newfield off to second base. As the Raiders have been hanging in there, trying to hang in there with Mahtomedi, but down 8 right now. And looking for anything right now. Sylvander steps in, the windup, and throws a strike. Gets one back there to make it 1-2.
2-2.
2-2. So they do mission. Yeah. So they'll make it 2 balls, 2 strikes here on Berg. The first one was a foul ball. Sylvander, the wind of the pitch, swung on and fouled off by Berg, and that may have gotten a piece of both the catcher and the ump for Hastings.
I know it for sure went straight off the bat, off the catcher's glove, and then back.
So Brooke Sylvander in the circle, / rubber, / mound, / pitching area, / for Mahtomedi here, for Hastings here. And throws that outside. Trying to add a little humor to your Saturday.
The sun is just at that right point
now. It's right in our eyes
oh
right now, yeah, and it's high here for a ball that's going to send Berg off towards first base. Yeah, we're right at the point in the day. It is 7:30 local time, and so we're right here in the day. We're about an hour from sunset, thereabouts, and so it's right at the point of the sky where it is really hard to look straight ahead right now.
Yeah, it is. I'm wearing a visor and sunglasses, and I'm still being blinded. And we are going to have a pitching switch for Hastings.
It looks like we're going to see North Thermos go on the mound, so we're going to let her warm up. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is softball day in Hastings.
Pitching for Hastings, number 2, Nora Thermos.
Oh, doggies. All right, we're coming back. And we're back as the Pooches are out here tonight. Lots of dogs.
Now by number 8.
And there we are, hanging out on HCTV and KDWA. Oh, working our way in the shot is Ashley.
Hey.
But here we are back to work here now in the top of the 5th here. And it looks like we have back at the top of the order, Kustrich against Nora Thermos, who's now the pitcher on the circle, in the circle. That's like one of those autocorrects where your phone changes on to in.
Yep.
She's in the circle here.
In the circle, on the rubber. Technicalities.
And the wind up here for Kustrich is high. So 3rd pitcher of the night for the Raiders so far. They started with Grace Trapp. They went to Brooke Sylvander, and now they have Nora Thermos in the circle. Throwing high ball here on Kustrich. The top of the order, Anika Martin and Riley Bogren are due up, followed by Rodzinski for Mahtomedi. And that one dribbles in for ball 4. That will send Kustrich off to first. And now Anika Martin, or Anika Martin, steps in for the Zephyrs here.
It's going to load up our bases here.
Yep, that will do so with no outs in the top of the 5th. Wind up the pitch high. That's a wild pitch, but the runners hold station.
Newfield thought about it out there.
She did. She looked right at it, and she's like, I'm going to pass on this one.
No, thank you.
Mahtomedi 8, Hastings nothing here, top 5th. As Hastings in a dangerous spot here. That one is going to be a strike thrown on Anika Martin, so 1-1 the count for the Raiders. Again, this is still JV. We've got varsity coming up following this. 8 p.m. is the scheduled first pitch, but could also get that started a few minutes early. Wind up the pitch here, thrown high. And stays on the bases. Does Newfield and company. With Anika Martin ready to go to work here. A wind up. And she'll take a strike out there, or take a strike, I should say, there. And so that will put her at 3-2. Full count for Anika Martin and Mahtomedi here. A wind up the pitch. Fanned on for the strike, and that's going to be huge for Nora Thermos to get a strike out on the board. One away from Mahtomedi. They go to that open air dugout over there in left field, and now Riley Bogren steps in for the Zephyrs here.
I think that has to be the most common type of pitch that's swung at but not connected with, is that pitch that's high. A lot of girls want to fall for that and get a hold of it, but it's tricky.
So here goes Thermos, and she'll throw a strike down the middle here. Again, the base paths are fully loaded here. And Mahtomedi trying to drive in 2 more runs to put Hastings in a tough spot in the 5th. Hastings trying to prevent anything else and get this continuing on further.
Thermos is working at a pretty quick pace.
She is, yeah, definitely a high-frequency pitcher.
Sometimes that's a really good thing too, though. It changes up the pace of the game, and it can throw off your opposing team.
Throws that one in for a ball. As Nora Thermos going to work here for Hastings in the circle. 8-0 Mahtomedi leads. That one's hit down for a base hit. 1 run will score.
Right
and Berg will head off to third. Kustrich is on to second. And Bogren takes off for first base. So now 9-0 Mahtomedi here in this top of the 5th with 1 away.
With 1 out, the score 9-0 Mahtomedi. Now batting 21, Julia Roszinski.
So Julia Roszinski stepping in for the Zephyrs here. As Thermos throws that one in for a ball.
We're now really teetering on the possibility of that 10-run rule coming into effect here.
Yeah, well, let's hope the Raiders can put something together in the bottom of the 5th so we can keep this going. And they're going to hit her here. And she got a piece of that one. That's going to score a run and make that 10-0. So now Hastings will absolutely have to score a run, at least 1 run, in the bottom of the 5th inning to keep this game going.
She took it right in the side of the ankle, too.
And
that is not a fun spot.
It is 7:34, so they would probably go straight into the varsity game if this was to end here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as Thermos throws that one in on Kendall Kerr, and they're going to call that one a strike. So 0-1 the count for Kendall Kerr. Again, varsity scheduled for 8 o'clock. Approaching 20 to 8 here. We're in the 5th inning. But it's 10-0. And obviously you want to see this game go all the way into the 7th. but Hastings will have to do something in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Still are only at 1 out here in the top of 5.
That one's fouled off by Kerr again. So 1-2 the count. Top of the 5th, as Ashley said, 1 out. And it is still Nora Thermos in the circle. That one's high.
She likes that high outside corner.
She got a strikeout that way. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
As Thermos, the wind up the pitch, and that one's fouled off. As the lights have come on here at Vets Park.
Oh, yeah.
Now about an hour or so away from the sun setting here. Looks like sunset is scheduled as that one's popped up into the air, fouled off into left by Kerr. Sunset is at 8:31, so we are now under an hour till sunset. So we will probably be having most of the varsity game in the dark, which is cool. Awesome opportunity for these girls to play under the lights at twilight if you're JV and under the lights if you're varsity on a Saturday night. Fun opportunity.
Anytime you get a chance to play under the lights is so cool.
It is definitely very cool. And Thermos throws that one in for Hastings here. 10-0 the score in the top of the 5th as poor Ashley, even with sunglasses on, has a hand up in her face trying to keep the sun out of her eyes at this particular point in the day.
And you know,
but if that's the worst thing we've got going for us right now,
I'm okay with it.
We're okay with that.
But you know, if it's this bad for me, for a batter, they're looking at the same thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And that is not ideal.
Thermos dribbles that one in, and it is now going to be 11-0 as they will walk Kerr. So Kustrich scores for Mahtomedi to make this 11-0 in the top of the 5th. And Olivia Boyle stepping in for the Zephyrs here to face Thermos. Wind up and the pitch. Whoa. Swung on down for a base hit. That will score 1 run. And it's going to score 2 runs for Mahtomedi and make it 13-0. It might score 3. No, she will stay put there.
Coach is going to hold
at
her.
3rd. So that puts Kerr on 3rd. Boyle with a 2 RBI double to make this 13-0 in the top of the 5th with 1 out. And Anique Sturm stepping in for the Zephyrs here. And she gets a piece of that one down for a base hit. And that will make it 14-0 Mahtomedi as Boyle heads off to 3rd. Sturm is on 1st. So runners on the corners for the Zephyrs here in this top of inning number 5. As we now go back to work with Ellie Newfield here, who has already batted once in this inning. Almost gets hit there. Gets out of the way to avoid being tagged.
This is now the 2nd consecutive inning that we've batted all the way around in this Mahtomedi lineup.
Yeah, they've definitely had the bats flowing here tonight. Here is Thermos. Throws it in on Newfield for a strike. Good job there by Nora Thermos to get a strike back. 1-1 the count. Swung on by Newfield. It gets down towards 1st. They will make the catch for out number 2. That's Rachel Notch out there now getting some action. Another multi-sport athlete, played basketball for the Raiders this year. And so she makes the play there for out number 2. And so now it's Lexi Berg at the bottom of the order. We'll go right back to the top with Kustrich, who just scored for Mahtomedi and now has to come right back out and hit after Lexi Berg if they don't get this out here, which let's hope Thermos does. Thermos, the wind up, the pitch on Berg high. Runner on 2nd is Newfield. And it's 15-0 Mahtomedi here in the top of inning number 5. They have really extended the lead here in this inning with 7 runs in this 5th, and they scored, I believe they scored 5 runs in the 4th. So they've got 12 of their 15 in the last 2 innings here. Do the Zephyrs. Wind up, high, ball 1. Or no, ball 1, ball 3. How did I say ball 1? Ball 3.
1 strike.
1 strike on the board. There we go. Wind up in the pitch. High ball 4 sends Lexi Berg off to first. We go right back to the top of the order. And here comes Kustrich on for the Zephyrs.
And they are going to call time.
I believe.
Lauren Meyer's going to come out and talk to her
Yep.
pitcher.
So we've talked a little bit about the conversations between everybody in the pitcher. What would the catcher and pitcher be talking about here?
Calm down.
Calm down?
Calm down. Calm down. Take a deep breath and relax. And you know, so you were talking earlier about softball being one of the most underrated sports. I think personally that the catcher is one of the most underrated positions on the field.
Absolutely. They're essentially, people think the pitcher is the quarterback, but
It's-
essentially
no.
it's the catcher.
I agree. I agree because I feel like it goes so unnoticed what they do back there.
This one's fouled off into left by Kustrich. So 2-1 the count. Or 1-2, I believe, the count. So wind up from Thermos. Got her out, swinging a strikeout for Nora Thermos to end it here. But Hastings will have their work cut out for them in the bottom of the 5th as it's now 15-0 Mahtomedi. This is softball day in Hastings.
Top of the 5th recap, 7 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on base. Mahtomedi leads 15-0 in the hole for Hastings. 17th third leader on deck, Rachel Knott. Your next batter will be Lauren Mull. Now pitching for Mahtomedi, number 32, Elizabeth Dubé. Leading on for Hastings, number 22, the shortstop, Lauren Mull.
Back here at softball day in Hastings, where Elizabeth Dubé is the new pitcher for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. And we will see a new catcher, I believe, as well, is what they said. Nope, it's still Rudzinski. They were saying maybe another substitution in the field perhaps here for Mahtomedi, as again Hastings needs just 5 runs here, needs 6 runs here to send this to the 6th inning. Here's the windup and the pitch, and that will be bunted by Mull. And so Lauren Mull standing in here for Hastings, with Dubé on as the pitcher for Mahtomedi, and Mull gets a piece of that one. The throw to first is in time, and Hastings is down to their final 2 outs. Again, we'll have varsity coming up at the conclusion of this one. And we won't be going anywhere here. We'll be sticking around and bringing that to you, at least on KDWA. Probably switch streams over on HCTV.
Now batting number 6, Rachel Notch.
And Rachel Notch is going to pinch hit here for Hastings. Trying to ignite a massive Raider rally here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Notch gets a piece of that one. Popped up caught for out number 2. And now the Raiders, unfortunately, down to their final out in this JV game. So final out, what's the motivation factor here? What do you tell the team?
I mean, just do the best you can. What else can you do at that point?
Yeah. So it will be now on the shoulders of Claire Reeder. The wind up. And that one in for a ball on Claire Reeder. So 1-0 the count between Hastings and Mahtomedi here. 15-0 Mahtomedi in this bottom of the 5th inning, and Hastings needs one more, or needs to survive here and avoid this last out, but it's going to happen right there as Reeder lines out to its first and ends this game.
It's a strong hit to Reeder, but it went in the wrong direction.
So Mahtomedi gets the victory in this JV game in 5 innings by a 15-0 final score. And we'll stick around, have the varsity game up next. That'll do it for this HCTV stream, and we'll be right back here on your home of the Hastings Raiders, KDWA. Special thanks to Hunter Pinky, Ian Andrzak, Wesley Papp, Hunter Pinky again, and Ashley Bowes. I'm Trey Lauer on HCTV. We'll see you again for the varsity game on HCTV, and we'll be back right here on KDWA.